Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Picture International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 14th of November, 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, review the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear here for a little bit. I'll try to adjust my lighting here, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so let's see if this did the trick. Yep, it did a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Before we go further as well, let me adjust this very quickly. Before we go further, as always, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, and then we can go from there. So, now then, let's jump into the charts. I'll try to be quick on some of the instruments because, again, not much has changed because, look, I think the market is waiting for some sort of guidance in a way, some sort of a direction, or let's say some sort of a trigger that could help it move in one or the other direction. So, yeah, for now... I will say this way, apologies for my voice. My voice is a little bit cranky today. So yeah, I'm trying to clear it up. But at the moment, I think that not much is helping. So coming back to the charts here, Nikkei 225. So we are still holding near that upper side of the rising channel here. Yep, so far I cannot say anything else apart from the fact that, well, it is how it is. I mean, we're waiting for that breakout to the through the upper side in order to consider the upside. But for the downside, the scenario here for me is on a drop below the 32,060 zone, and if we do get that drop, then yes, great. At the same time, we could drop below the 50 and the 100-day EMA as well. So yeah, that's the simplistic approach here. On Nikkei, we don't have much data coming out from Japan. Nothing, nope, not something that is worthy. China 50. So China 50 is still drifting lower. I mean, it's still trading below this downside line, which I really starting not to like it anymore, to be honest, because in a way, this is just kind of, let's say, we're kind of oscillating around that downside line. So we're in the downwards direction. So in a way, yes, it's still on the chart, but maybe we could actually now draw it this way, just because this way it's also a tentative downside line. This way it's also a tentative downside line. But to be honest, I think that this could be a little bit of a more safe option. So yes, I mean, as long as we remain below it, then yes, of course, the trend could remain to the downside. Now, if we do drop, and well, this is what I said before, that if we do drop and stay below the 12,074 territory, then yes, I'll continue leaning towards the downside. And so far, yes, we are on the right track. So now then, my next target is the 11,883, and then we'll go from there. In terms of the upside, yes, at this point, I think I will keep an eye on this downside line drawn from the high of the 1st of August, this way drawn, because when the other touch is near the high of the 7th of November. So if we do break this downside line, then yes, great, more buyers here could join in. ASX 200, so yes, beautiful move to the upside, beautiful rebound from this territory. Everything's in line with the expectation, because I said to you that in order for me to go lower, I needed to see a drop below this downside line. Now at this point, I think that this downside line no longer needed. I think it kind of delivered its mission, or completed its mission, because I said to you that whenever we break a trend line, we tend to test it from the other side and kind of rebound from it and push higher. So in other words, this has been completed, no longer needed. Now my next question here will be, can we get that move, can we get that move to the upside here towards this 7,064 territory? Well, at least this is what I'm going to aim for, as long as we remain above the 50-day EMA. Then yes, I'm going to target this 100-day EMA, and if that gets cleared, I will go further north towards the downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 27th of July, and then we'll take it from there. So for the downside, I need to see a drop below the 6,954 territory right here, and then we could take it from there, guys. So jumping into the Dow. So yes, of course, yesterday we saw a nice push higher. So yesterday, basically, the markets did close in positive territory. Some of them. I'm talking about the Dow. NASDAQ and S&P, no, just fractionally below zero. So didn't really work out well for the bulls. Sorry, stalled there a little bit. Yes, it didn't work out very well for the bulls. However, still there is hope. And look, from the technical perspective for the Dow, I'm sticking to the same game plan, actually. And look, I mean, we pushed above my 34,373 territory, we cleared it, and we stayed above it. And we're still actually sitting above that area, or just bang on in that area. So, long story short, I would say, yeah, I mean, I will continue targeting the upside. And now I would say, as long as we remain, from the short-term perspective, as long as we remain somewhere above this 34,200 zone, so I do accept the little correction here to the downside, but as long as we remain somewhere above this 34,200 zone, then yes, I will continue targeting the upside. So basically, I'm considering something like that. In order for me to consider the downside, well, this is the point where I think that we might actually keep an eye on this 34,200 zone. If we do fall below it, then yes, I will aim for slightly lower levels, and then my next target is the 33,994, or in general the 34th. Actually, no, sorry, I'm lying here. That's the 200-day EMA right here. No, I'm talking about the 33,914 zone marked by the low of the 9th of November. So this one here could kind of provide good support initially, but if that gets cleared, we could also clear all the EMAs on my daily chart, potentially attracting more sellers into the game. But again, look, it's for now, I'm cautiously bullish. Also, we are watching the US CPIs today, and those are expected to decline a little bit. Now, look, the core and month on month and year on year are expected to come out the same, actually, but the headline ones are expected to come out lower. So the month on month is expected to drop from plus 0.4 to plus 0.1, and the year on year from plus 3.7 to plus 3.3. So yeah, I would say good, interesting moment here, because if that happens and we do see a lower inflation number, then the stock market could rally nicely. Why? Because look, if you remember, the Fed last week was like on Thursday, the Fed kind of frightened everybody, saying like, oh, we still see some like bad inflation coming, and that's why rate hikes are still needed, and that would be a major blow, kind of a bit of a blow for them, because in a way it's coming out lower, and then there's no reason for them to hike rates. So that's why the stock market could go up again. But again, let's I think that the Fed is trying, or the Fed officials are trying to keep that rhetoric kind of on the table still, you know, in order not to allow the stock market to rally too much. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, not allowing that horse to go way too fast. So you're kind of constantly like, you know, pulling back a little bit. So yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. That's the situation. So yeah. So yeah, let's so for now, like I said, I'm targeting the upside, and maybe this 34,980, or in general the 35,000 mark, is a little bit maybe somewhat too ambitious, but I think that maybe we could keep an eye on something around here near the 34,600 zone initially, and then we'll go from there. So, oh, by the way, as always, I'll be the first one, probably. Just a sec. Good morning, everyone. There we go. Good morning, everyone. Just bear with me one moment, guys. I need to kind of make my room a little bit cooler because, again, I think I'm starting to sweat. So just bear with me one moment. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I'm back here. So yeah, like this room got a little bit too hot, and I think from all the lamps, yeah, I do have like big, massive lamps here, which are releasing a lot of heat, to be honest. But it's okay. At least my bald head is nice and shiny and in the light there. So. S&P 500. So let's have a look at that one. So yes, of course, so far the same analysis is valid. I need to see that pop above the 4,000, this area between the 4,430, 34 levels. Yeah, and then we will go for some higher levels towards this downside line. And then we'll go from there. So long story short, the same analysis is still valid. So yes, I need to see a clearance of the zone in order to get a little bit more excited with the upside. For the downside, yeah, I mean, we could actually look at something similar as on the Dow. So basically, we could start looking at some lower levels if we do drop below this little hurdle right here near the 4,409 zone. If we do fall below it, then yes, great, more sellers here could join in, and then we'll take it from there. So yeah, that's my game plan here for for the S&P. Very simplistic, to be honest. I have nothing else to add. Daredevil Dave, good morning. I can see you there in the chat room. Welcome. Welcome to you. Welcome to everybody else who's tuning in right now. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Tuesday. So yeah, jumping into NASDAQ, similar story. So we're still, yes, I'm looking at some higher levels. Look, I have a few adjustments have to be made here. So after we broke the downside line, yes, it opened the door towards some higher levels, but I think that I'll get more excited with some higher levels if we do push above the 15,604 zone, somewhere around here. And if that gets cleared, then yes, great, more buyers here could join in, and we could target the 15,916 zone, or maybe even higher. But look, at first we need to see a pop above that 15,600 zone. If that gets cleared, then yes, great, more buyers here will join in because a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. Oh, SBMS, good morning to you too. I can see you there as well. Good morning, happy to see you here. Yes, so coming back to this, look, I'm not getting rid of my downside line yet because I still like it. So if we do drop back below it, then from here I will consider slightly lower levels. Even if we do retrace back down, yes, I'll class that as a little temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. That's if we remain above this downside line. The German index DAX, so yes, pushed higher yesterday. So it's slow. It's grinding slowly to the upside. So look, today. We do have some stuff from the Eurozone. So we have the Spanish CPIs coming out first, but then of course the main focus will be on the German ZEV economic sentiment. That's expected to improve. The other one is the preliminary GDP number coming out from the Eurozone. So yes, something to keep an eye on for today. So at the moment, the preliminary GDP for the year-on-year is expected to decline together with the Q-on-Q one. So yeah, but the ZEV economic sentiment in Germany is expected to improve quite significantly, I would say. So and the same story with the Eurozone ZEV economic sentiment. So yeah, watch out for that data. I would say if you're trading something like DAX or the Euro, we might see a bit of fluctuation, but I think that the main instruments will be still kind of reflective of what's going to happen with the U.S. inflation, I think, in my opinion. But again, well, it's only my opinion. Let's see if the European data does give a little bit of a shift to the main mostly traded instruments. So yeah, at the moment, looking at the technical picture, look, we climbed above the 50-day EMA. So my next target is the 200-day EMA and then the 100-day EMA. If all that gets cleared, yes, my next target is the 15,683, and then we'll go from there. For the downside, I need to see maybe a drop actually below this hurdle. Actually, I'm going to keep it on the chart still, the 15,338. Now, previously it acted as a good area, a good barrier for resistance barrier, but now I think it's time to look at it as if it breaks the barrier here, then yes, I will consider a move lower towards my 15,133 zone. So the FTSE 100. So yes, we are pushing. I mean, this is a mess. Honestly, I'm gonna give up on the FTSE, and it's not. I don't like it. I really don't like it because it's not really doing what I wanted to do. So that's why I think that this is not working anymore. Yesterday I was talking about this, and I was kind of hoping. I was already like, hey, great, it's working out. But then today, boom, it's not working out. So back to the drawing board. So I think maybe now this barrier, the 7,450. So look, I have to admit, if something that stops working, you have to kind of rethink it, redraw it, and whatever it takes, you need to kind of reapproach it. So I'm reapproaching it. So from the other side now, so the 7,450 zone is something that I'm keeping a close eye on. And if that gets cleared, then yes, I will consider a move towards the 50-day EMA. Where my next target is the 7,495 or 500 area, and then we'll go from there. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 7,400 zone. That's going to be my start, and then 7,370 could be that like extra level to kind of to support the downside scenario. US dollar index, so of course keeping a close eye on this one. So it retraced back down yesterday, but remains above the 50-day EMA. And at the moment, look, the same game plan is still valid. If we do drop and stay below the 50-day EMA, I'm leaning towards the 100-day EMA first. Probably even ignoring this level here, the 105.24. For the upside, 105.88 zone here, that's what I need to see a break off in order to go higher. Let's have a quickly on gold. Beautiful rebound from the 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci. There we go. So we did rebound. We're pushing it higher. So my question now is, can we see a push back up here? Now, of course, ideally, my upside scenario is from around this 23.6. But the fact that we've climbed back above the 50-day EMA and we're above all of my EMAs, this creates this kind of positive illusion, I would say, maybe that more buyers here could join in. So, but maybe it's not going to be an illusion. So I would say this way: as long as we remain above the 50-day EMA here, then yes, I will continue targeting the upside. For the downside, a drop below the 1,942 territory is required in order to go lower. If I get that drop, then yes, my next target is the 200-day EMA, and if that gets cleared, certainly I will aim for that 50% retracement. So in other words, if you're looking for some lower levels, then wait for a drop below the 38.2. If you're looking for some higher levels, you could already start looking at some higher levels as long as we remain above the 50-day EMA. Then yes, I'm going to target that 23.6, and then I'm going to get even more comfortable with the upside if we do climb back above it. Silver, so we retraced, there we go. We're retesting the broken trend line again. So yes, from the other side. My question is, can we stay below this? Simplistic approach, to be honest. I mean, I will adjust a few levels. I'm going to mark this low, yesterday's low, near the 21.88 zone. So yeah, if we do continue to trade below the upside line, then yes, my next target is the 21.88 zone or this 21.62 territory. And then we will take it from there. In terms of the upside, I would like to see, I would like to see a push back above this upside line, actually. And then we could maybe start examining higher levels. But long story short, I think that, yes, maybe just for that extra confirmation, a break of this downside line here, drawn from the high of the 30th of August, would be required. So just for that extra confirmation. Copper, something that I probably didn't put, I didn't put in the description. Let me see if I can amend this, because lately, lately TradingView is not allowing me to do anything with my own videos, actually. So yeah, it's Ethereum, the oil, corn. I forgot corn as well. Let's see if it's gonna allow me to update that. Yeah, fantastic, great. I mean, yeah, it worked out. Okay. Look, copper, something that I wanted to pick up on, and previously I talked about this. So if we do drop below the 3.63 territory, then yes, I'll lean towards the downside. A few adjustments have to be made here actually, but I think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remove everything and start fresh. So I'm going to bring a few lines back, of course, like for example this one, or for example this one right here. So the 3.52 territory, that's the lowest point of October, which provided fantastic support, and the lowest point of May of this year, near the 3.54 territory. So this is quite an important area of support, I would say. After we've reached the 3.52 territory, we started reversing back to the upside. Now, what I'm seeing right now here is, yes, I'm seeing a higher low. So the question is, will we go for a higher high? Now, that's a good question. And for now, I would say this way, that if we do push and stay and we do remain above the 50-day EMA, my next target is the 100-day EMA, and then so on and so on. Then we will go higher. Then we could go towards this downside resistance line. Now, long story short, for now, I would say that if we do continue to trade above the 50-day EMA, then yes, I am leaning towards the upside. For the downside, I need to see a drop back below this territory right here, below this 3.58 zone. If we do get that drop, great. I will consider a move lower, at least for a little bit. Oil. Oil is getting a nice reversal back up. So let me, my lines, there we go, my lines loaded up. So yes, we've popped above the 77.60 zone. And this is what I talked about yesterday. I said to you that if we do pop back above it, then we could aim for this downside line. We've, I would say, reached that. And now the question is, can this downside line continue to provide resistance? Well, if it can, then I will say if we do fall back below the 77.60 territory, then yes, I'll get more excited with the downside, especially if we also break a little short-term upside line right here. That's just going to add more positivity for me for in order to consider lower levels. For the upside, I need to see a break of this downside line here, and if we do stay above it, and not only a break, because I need to see it staying above that downside line in order to go higher. So long story short, for now, I'm keeping an eye on this downside line, and I'm keeping an eye on the 200-day EMA, and then we'll go from there. Corn. So corn, yes, guys. Corny. We've found good support. So look, I previously had talked about this, and I said to you that if we do break this upside line, my next target is actually not somewhere lower, but it's somewhere here near the 400 and kind of 61, 62 levels. And there we go. We managed to get reach that area. So now my next question is, can we break above this downside line? Well. Long story short, if we do push and break this downside line, then yes, great. More buyers here could join in, but I think that, let me just get rid of this upside line, but I think that more buyers could join in if we do also push above the 50-day EMA. If that gets cleared, great. More, I will consider a move towards this territory, and then we'll go from here. At this point, I'm just observing the price action. I'm not really doing anything here. I'm just observing the price action, but once it starts popping above this downside line, let's say if it starts popping above this downside line, then yes, potentially this could open the door to some higher levels. Bitcoin. So, okay, Bitcoin. We still, look, not much to add here. The same analysis is valid. The same analysis as yesterday. As long as we remain below this 37,400 zone, I'm just remaining neutral. Or should I say, as long as we remain below this barrier but above the upside line, I'm neutral. If one of these get cleared, then yes, I will consider the next short-term directional move. BitcoinCash, again, like I said, guys, nothing to add. It's the same analysis as yesterday, so that's why I'm jumping into the next one. BitcoinCash, the same again story. We're still holding above this upside line, so not much to add here. And if we do break this upside line, then yes, I will consider a move lower. In terms of the upside, I need to see a push above the 251 territory in order to consider some higher levels. Ethereum. So Ethereum is at a very interesting spot. So look, we are still trading above the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is drawn from the low, the 27th of October, to the high of the 10th of November. And also these levels here that I have are also playing a good role of providing support. So in a way, there is still a chance for a push higher. However, because we're still very close to this area, I would like to see actually a drop below this territory, below this 2030 zone, somewhere around here, or initially, of course, below that 23.6, and then the 2031 zone, and then so on and so on. So my first initial glance here to the downside will be from this 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is on my chart roughly around that 2045 level. For the upside, I'll take a very conservative approach, and I'll wait for a push above the 2142 territory right here, and then we'll go from there. Ripple. So yes, beautiful spike to the upside yesterday, and there we go. Boom, beautiful drop the same day. We did push through the 0.73, 16, 30, 51 zone, but that was not enough. So basically now my next question is, can we see a push towards this barrier right here, towards this 0.8536 zone? If we can, then great, more buyers here could join in. But if we do drop below this upside line, then yes, I think that maybe this could open the door to some lower levels. Sorry. Look, I think that this level here, the 0.6529, which I had previously, I think maybe it's not the one to watch. Maybe we could keep an eye on the 0.6369 just for that extra confirmation. Let's jump into Forex. AUDUSD. So again, the same story, not much to add here. I said to you yesterday that if we do retrace back to the upside here, as long as we remain below the 0.6393 territory right here, we could still see another push lower. Yes, we could go towards that 0.6337 territory, and yes, so on and so on. But basically for now, I'm still leaning towards the downside as long as we remain below this hurdle. If we start popping back above this hurdle, then well, this is where I need to, I think, remove this upside line, no longer needed. Also, I think I need to put this here. If we do pop above the 50-day EMA, then yes, more buyers here could join in, and we could take it from there. So at the moment, long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, then yes, a push above the 50-day EMA here is required. At least then we could aim for that 100-day EMA. AUDJPY, again, similar story. We're also getting a hold up. So I talked about this previously already. You can see by the skewed arrow here. So as long as we remain below the 96.94 territory, I'm leaning towards the downside. If we do pop above it and stay above it, then yes, I'll go a little bit higher. NZDUSD. So there we go. We're continuing to slide. And look, in terms of NZD data, we don't have much. Yes, I think we don't have much. Let me just quickly double check something. Double check the calendar. If there is something that could could force NZD to move at some point, PPI input output, which is coming out late on Thursday. Yes, so but that's kind of it. I think that yeah, it's mainly going to be driven by this fella right here. So. And we can see that, yes, the US dollar is weak, but I think that the New Zealand dollar is even weaker. But on the positive note is the fact that we fell below the 50%, and then we are almost near the 61.8. So basically, in other words, this could still kind of be a nice, good rebound area for this pair. Now, if we do clear this 61.8, yes, I'm leaning towards the downside. My next target is the 78.60, and then we'll go from there. But look, at the moment, all eyes are on this 61.8. I want to see if we can get a rebound from this area. So, and for that, in order to get that rebound, I need to see, well, we'll need to see the US dollar falling apart here and, declining heavily. But again, let's not rush into things. So yeah, talked about gold already. So CHFJPY, just a quick update. We're near this key resistance barrier. I talked about this, and yes, it's quite beautiful. But I need that confirmation pop above the 168.43. If I get that, great. More buyers here could join in. USDJPY, similar story. We're near key resistance. As you can see, yesterday we've created a new high for this year, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. Yep, that is correct. Yesterday we've created a new high for this year, but we failed to stay above the previous highest point of this year. So, long story short, there's not much to add apart from the fact that a breakout is required in order to go higher. Oh, sorry, needed a sip of tea. So, okay, let me just adjust my microphone. I hit that one. So yeah, that's my game plan here for this pair. Let me just double check something here. Let me grab a highlighter, because what I want to mark here is this, of course. So this is something that I'm going to keep a close eye on. Now, if we do get that clearance here, then yes, great. More buyers here could join in. USDCAD. Okay, look, USDCAD is near this key resistance again. So it's flirting with it, keeps on flirting with it. And yep, I need that clearance. I need okay, we keep on getting that clearance, but I need to see the pair staying above this area, above this 1.3813. So far, I'm not getting that. So that's why it's not really very interesting. Once it starts, staying above this, then yes, I will get comfortable with higher levels. But at the same time, look, if we somehow expect maybe the US dollar to decline, well, guess what could happen here with USDCAD? It could fall off the cliff here. I think that this is, and also the stronger oil, if this pops higher, it could play out in benefit to the Canadian dollar. So basically, long story short, then we could see a nice decline here. So in other words, if you're looking for some lower levels, then I would say as long as it stays below the 1.3813 zone here, that could play out nicely for the sellers as long as we remain below this hurdle. If we push, I know it's very close and very tight. We're just kind of bang on in this one, but I think that keep an eye on today's CPIs. That's of course very important. Yes, if we hold below this 1.3813, maybe actually that move could happen and we could see that a nice drop lower. GBPJPY. So I haven't talked about this one for quite a while actually, but so far it's working out perfectly because what I said before, that if we do clear the upper side of this range, then my next target is the 186.77. To be honest, I'll take that. It's a good result. Now, I mean, I'm not going to even wait for this to reach this area. I think that's enough. That's wonderful. So long story short, I think that maybe we could let's say take our profits here, and now let's see, I'll leave it, I'll let it settle down here a little bit. If it wants to clear the 186.77, that's great, wonderful, but as long as it stays above that area as well. If it stays, then great, yes, more buyers here could join in. In terms of the downside, a drop below the 183.82 territory here would be required. If we get that drop, then yes, more sellers here could join in. GBPNZD. My next target is was the 2.0965 territory tick. I would say that's a good result. I mean, we didn't reach it exactly, but it's the area near that level, so that's great. So in other words, after we broke the downside line again, because again there was a little bit of a mess here, but hey, eventually we cleared all the EMAs, we popped higher. So now the question is, can we see a hold up here? I think that the initial hold up will happen near the 2.0965, 66 here. And if we do stay somewhere near this area, then of course I'm just kind of observing the price action. If we start popping above this, then yes, great, more buyers could join in, and then we'll go from there. Now, I think this downside line needs to be taken away here, and I think we can redraw it and we can put something else, like something like this. I think it makes a little bit more sense, because if that gets broken, we also get a drop below the 2.0736 territory right here, and all this could add up nicely for the sellers, at least to drag the pair towards the 200-day EMA right here. EURGBP, so continues to hold here below the 0.8741 zone. So yeah, I mean, I talked about this yesterday. I said that look, while we remain in here, I'm just observing the price action. Once it starts clearing one of the sides here, either the 0.8741, then I'll consider a move higher, but if it starts clearing this upside line, then I'll consider a move lower. EURCHF is also the same game plan, still interesting. I'm looking for that pop here. If I can get it, then great, wonderful. More buyers here could join in. The 0.9653 territory, that's what I'm looking at right now. And yes, if we can clear that, then great, more. My next target is the 200-day EMA. In terms of the downside, well, a break of this upside line is required. That's it. That's my simplistic approach, because at the same time, if we break the upside line, we could break below the 100-day EMA and potentially attract a few more sellers. And finally, EURUSD. So we're breaking the short-term tentative downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 6th of November. Yep, we're breaking that. And now my question is, can we see a push towards that 200-day EMA? If we can, great. More buyers here could join in. So look, if we do push above that 100-day EMA, then yes, my next target is the 200-day EMA. So I think that I don't know where to put this this upside line or downside line, or whatever. So I'm gonna get rid of it, because at this point I don't even have a clear upside line. I think that and another thing, actually, I think, you know what? Let me have a fresh look, because sometimes when there's too many lines, you get lost, and you lose that kind of logic and sense. So look, let's put it this way. As long as we remain above this 1.0695 territory, I had this level before, I will remain somewhat bullish, because we're currently flirting with the 100-day EMA. My only problem is this formation right here. This could be seen as the let me just I think it's the bearish 3. I keep on kind of messing with it. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. So yes, so this is what I'm referring to. So the bearish 3 method. Yep. So whenever you have a big candle to the downside, for example, then like this, the next 3 candles to the upside, but they're within the body of the first candle. Then the 5th candle here, you get you move to the downside. So in that case, if this is something, they might be all different, you know, but this is what we're getting right now. So in other words, if let's say to follow that theory, then basically a drop lower here could be expected, you know, because we have this strong candle to the downside, 1, 2, 3 candles to the upside. Currently, it's still forming the 5th one, but look, we have the CPIs today. So if somehow the US dollar strengthens, then yes, this idea would work out. But if it weakens, then ignore the whole kind of bearish 3 method and just, you know, we could see some higher moves here. But look, at the moment, I think that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark the current highest point of November near the 1.0756. I'm going to lean towards the upside as long as we stay, not only break, but stay above the 100-day EMA right here, which on my chart is roughly around the 1.0707 territory. If we stay above that, then yes, I will continue targeting higher levels. But if we start falling back below the 1.0695 territory right here, I'm talking about the short-term analysis here. Then I'll aim for my 50-day EMA, and yes, I mean, we'll go from there. So there we go. So this is only going to be valid for today, probably. You know, tomorrow I'll have something else probably in mind. So also another thing, if we do clear this little barrier, the 1.0656, then yes, we could see a drop below the 50-day EMA, and then we will go from there. Long story short, that's my game plan for the downside here. So yeah, I'm not gonna, let's say, improvise too much. I'm just gonna keep an eye on this scenario at the moment. So guys, yeah, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Just wanted to quickly check what's happening with the 10-year note. Yep. Okay, so yes, we retraced. So in a way, these are, from the technical perspective, these are showing some signs of positivity, like at least for some slightly higher levels. So maybe, you know, a push to back towards this little territory could be possible, or maybe, you know, like on the 30-year note somewhere here. So as long as we remain above the 50-day EMA here and here, then yes, there is a chance for an upside. But that's technical analysis. Sometimes you cannot perform technical analysis on the US bonds here. That's why, ignore it. But look, if this is an indication that we could see a move higher here, then maybe the indices actually, indices might actually go to the downside. So that's where the tricky bit comes in. Unfortunately, we will have to wait for the number to come out and see the market reaction, and then just adjust accordingly. SBMS, thank you very much for your comment. I really appreciate that. That does mean a lot to me. So really appreciate that. In general, thank you very much for to everybody who has tuned in, and I hope you'll have a fantastic trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, and join me tomorrow again. Again, apologies for not being able to schedule my my webinars, because there is some sort of a bug on TradingView on our side, on maybe on our account, but we are not allowed to schedule for some reason. So maybe this will get fixed, but normally I will jump in straight into live, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time. So yes, guys, tune in tomorrow, and have a beautiful trading day today. Stay safe. Bye bye. Hey there, thank you very much for watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that. So like this video, we speculate your next mouse movement will be towards the subscribe button.